Welcome to the Beyond You podcast, where we have real conversations about healing, trusting yourself again, and building the kind of relationships that actually feel good. I'm Samantha, and if you've ever felt like you're just going through the motions, like you're doing all the right things but still feeling disconnected, you're in the right place. Because here we go beyond the surface, beyond the hurt, beyond the patterns that keep you stuck. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Not a lot of times people tell you on what everyone else is doing and how to be there for yourself when everyone's making these couple photos. So I want you to come on in, get comfortable, grab your tea, your journal, whatever you need. If you're new here, I'm Samantha. I'm grateful you found your way to this conversation today. But before we settle in and we're going to go deep today, like we always do, I want to say something real quick. Make sure you subscribe. I want to be able to get at least 1,000 this year in 2026. And I'm just so excited for all of you guys, my new followers that have been listening to me. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe if you find yourself keep coming back to these conversations. If you've ever a comment or things you want me to talk more about, make sure to let me know, okay? So a lot of times we are getting flooded with Valentine's Day posts and it gets you being able to question everything. Like, let's make sure this woman finds us during this time, right? During Valentine's Day when it's a lot. Valentine's already be past, Valentine's could be coming up because it'd be July, you just scroll past this video, right? And you saw another engagement announcement and it just sends you spiraling. And so a lot of times when everyone else is posting couple photos, proposal videos, my person captions, heart emojis, and date nights and weekend getaways, and you're here single, watching it all, maybe happy for them. You genuinely are, but also feeling that ache, that quiet, what about me that you don't say out loud because you don't want to sound bitter or jealous or like you're not happy for people. But underneath that happiness for others, there is this whisper: when is it my turn? What's wrong with me? Why does everyone else get chosen except me? Right. I want you to drop a comment if that does happen, because I think being able to be honest about what shows up within us makes a big difference. But because before we go even further, I need you to know that you're not alone in this, right? There's nothing that's wrong with you. You're definitely not the only one feeling this way. And so I just want to be able to just kind of normalize this feeling. Through social media, it makes it seem like everyone's happy the way things are. So I get it. It can feel like a lot. So today we're talking about something that nobody really addresses, honestly: how to love yourself when it feels like everyone else is being loved. How to choose yourself when the world is screaming that being chosen by someone else is the ultimate validation. And how to show up for yourself on the days when being single feels less like freedom and more like being forgotten. And I'm not going to even give you that toxic positivity. I'm not going to tell you just be grateful or your person is coming or everything happens for a reason. None of that is here. Okay. I'm going to be telling you the truth. And then I'm going to show you just how to actually be able and how it actually helps in general. So let's be honest about what you're really feeling. Okay. Because it can feel like a lot. So first, let's just name actually what's happening in your body, in your heart, when you see those couple photos. Okay. Because we spend so much time trying to feel differently than we do. I've been seeing a lot of my clients shaming themselves for feeling something that it makes sense in why they're feeling. Trying to talk ourselves out of the hurt, trying to be mature about it. But before we can shift anything, we have to be honest about what's actually there. So when you see those couple photos, you might feel jealous, and that's okay. Jealousy doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you human. It means that something you want, you don't necessarily have yet. That's information, okay? Not just some flaw on your character, or a lot of times, or feeling just like left behind, like everyone's moving forward into this next chapter and you're stuck, like the world is pairing off and you're still just on the bench. A lot of times we also feel just not enough, like there must be something wrong with you, because if you were enough, smart enough, healed enough, pretty enough, successful enough, wouldn't someone have chosen you? A lot of times we tell ourselves these things. And then also, we just find ourselves feeling tired of being the single friend, of going to weddings alone, of being asked, so are you seeing anyone at every family gathering, of explaining that no, you're still dating, and yes, you're really okay, even though you're not sure if you are. And here's the cultural layer that I need to name, especially for just our Black and Brown women, right? There's often this added pressure, this sense that just being single past a certain age means something is wrong with you, that you're too picky, too independent, too much, or somehow not enough. And maybe you're hearing it from your mother who wants grandchildren, your aunties who keep trying to set you up. Even I hear people sometimes just even in your church family, right? Who thinks being a wife is the ultimate calling. Maybe you're navigating this stereotype that Black women are strong and independent to the point where we are not seen as needing or deserving of soft love, or the pressure to have it all figured out because you've had to work twice as hard just to be seen. And then there's the internalized piece, right? Because the fear that maybe they're right, and that sometimes we just start second guessing ourselves and doubting ourselves. Maybe your standards are too high. Maybe the work you've been doing on yourself, the boundaries you've set, the healing you prioritize, maybe that's actually pushing love away. So tell me this has happened to you in the comments. I think it helps people feel less alone in this part. So I want you to let me know in the comments, what is the hardest part of being single right now? Not the surface answer, right? The real one. Like, this is a community, right? Here's what I need you to know, just to hear and understand before we go any further. Understand automatically. I know my clients hear me say this all the time. Your feelings are valid, all of them. The jealousy, the loneliness, the frustration, the fear. You don't have to spiritually bypass any of it. You don't have to pretend you're above wanting partnership just because you're doing healing work. You can be genuinely happy in your own company and still want someone to share your life with. You can be whole on your own and still desire partnership. Both things can be true. And the fact that you're single right now, it doesn't mean you're behind. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're unlovable or too damaged or not healed enough. Sometimes it just means you're in a season of choosing yourself. And that season, it matters more than you know. Oh, let's get on to the next section, right? Why loving yourself hits different when you're single. Okay, so let's talk about why this whole love yourself thing feels extra hard when you're single and everyone else seems to be in love, right? Because I'm going to be real with you. There's a difference between loving yourself when you have a partner who's also loving you and loving yourself when you're the only one showing up for you. Okay. So when you have a partner, self love gets reinforced externally. Someone's telling you you're beautiful. Someone's choosing you every day. Someone's validating that you're worthy of love. And that external validation, it makes your internal work easier at. And this is if you're having a healthy relationship here, right? But when you're single, you have to be your own validation. You have to be the one who sees your worth when nobody else is reflecting it back to you. You have to choose yourself when there's no one else choosing you. You have to celebrate yourself when there's no one bringing you flowers. And that is harder. It just is, right? Because anyone who tells you it's not is lying or hasn't actually had to do it. Bec- Here's what I am learning now, both from my own journey and from watching the incredible women I work with. The self love you build when you're single, it's the realest kind because it's not contingent on anyone else. When you learn to show up for yourself when there's no one else, when you learn to validate yourself, celebrate yourself, choose yourself without needing external proof that you're worthy, you build a solid foundation that no relationship can shake. You stop looking for someone to complete you because you're learning you're already whole. You stop accepting crumbs when you're learning to give yourself the full meal. You stop abandoning yourself to keep someone else because you built a relationship with yourself. That's the gift of this season. It doesn't feel like a gift when you're in it. I know, but it is because the version of you that you're becoming right now, the one who's learning to love herself without anyone else's validation, she's going to walk into her next relationship completely different. She's not going to settle. She's not going to shrink. She's not going to lose herself trying to be loved because she already know she's lovable. Not because someone told her, but because she learned to tell herself. So I'd like to be able to hear what's one way you've chosen yourself lately that you're proud of, even if it's small, even if no one else's notices. I want to see you. Now I know what you might be thinking, right? That's great, Samantha, but it still hurts. The self-love doesn't make the loneliness go away. And you're right, it doesn't. Self-love isn't a cure for loneliness. It's not a substitute for human connection. You're allowed to want partnership even while you're building a relationship with yourself. But here's what it does do. It changes what you're willing to accept when partnership shows up. When you've spent time actually loving yourself, not just performing self-care, but genuinely building a relationship with yourself, you start to develop standards, not superficial ones, you know, about height or income, real ones about respect, consistency, emotional availability, reciprocity. You recognize red flags faster because you know what green flags look like and feel like. You've been giving them to yourself. You don't ignore your intuition because you've been practicing listening to yourself. You don't abandon yourself to keep someone because you've learned the cost that is too high. The self-love you're building right now is preparing you for the love you're calling in, not in a like woo-woo manifestation. If that's what your thing, absolutely, but in a very practical way as well. I now know what healthy love feels like because I've been practicing it with myself. Okay, so it's a little bit different. But a lot of times we don't realize of just what self-love actually looks like and not the Instagram version. All right, so let's get practical because love yourself is nice in theory, but what does it actually look like on the day your entire feed is couple photos in your home alone on a Saturday night? And let me tell you what is not. It's not forcing yourself to be grateful when you feel sad. It's not pretending you don't want partnership when you do. It's not a bubble bath or in a face mask. Things are nice. It's not toxic positivity disguised as empowerment at all. Real self love, the kind that actually sustains you, looks like this. Number one, showing up for yourself like you would show up for your best friend. Your best friend just got her heart broken. What do? You check in on her, you listen without trying to fix it, you validate her feelings, you remind her of her worth, you sit with her in the pain, you don't rush her healing. Now, do that for you, do that for yourself. When you're scrolling and seeing couple posts and feeling that ache, don't judge yourself for it. Don't tell yourself to get over it. Still, like, don't shame yourself for still wanting what you don't have to yourself like you talk to her. I know this is hard. I know you're tired of waiting. I know you want someone to choose you the way you keep, choosing everyone else. I see you and I'm here with you. Self love, not the performance of it, the practice of it. Number two, creating your own moments of joy, not waiting for someone else to create them. Here's what I want you to hear. You don't have to wait for a partner to do the things that bring you joy. You want flowers? Buy yourself flowers. Not as a consolation prize, but because you deserve beauty in your space. You want to try that new restaurant? Take yourself. Bring a book. Enjoy your own company. You want a weekend getaway? Book it. Solo travel is healing in ways couples trips never will be. I know there's this voice that says, that's sad, or that's what you do when you can't find anyone. But understand that voice is lying. Waiting for someone else to make your life beautiful is what's actually sad. Making your own life beautiful while you're single, that's our. I don't think we realize on how important it is to pour that love into you, which took me a while to do and learn. And that's why I'm showing you this. Number three, building a relationship with yourself. This is the part we skip. We focus on self care activities, but we don't actually build the relationship. Think about any relationship you value. You spend time with the person, right? You check in, you have conversations, you learn about them, you show up when it's hard. It's not just when it's convenient. So do that with yourself. Spend time alone without distractions, not just scrolling, not just busy work. Actually be present with yourself. Check in throughout the day. How am I feeling? What do I need right now? Journal not just about what happened, but about what you're learning about yourself and about what you're discovering and what you're becoming. Make decisions based on what you actually want, not what you think you should want or what or just should want or what would look good. You can use your I miss me journal that we have here. This is exactly what's created for to help you build that relationship, to guide you back to yourself when the world and social media keeps pulling you. You also have in Substack to come home to yourself as well, to be able to have those toolkits to kind of continue to build that self-trust. Just realizing how important it is to know your authentic self, just what has happened to you and the hurt has happened to you. I want you to be able to reconnect with the parts of yourself that got lost or forgotten or pushed aside. The relationship with yourself is your foundation of every other relationship you'll ever have. If that foundation is shaky, everything else will be too. Number four, protecting your peace, even when that means unfollowing, muting, or taking breaks. Real talk, if seeing a couple posts is genuinely hurting you right now, you're allowed to take a break from social media. You're allowed to mute people. You're allowed to unfollow accounts that make you feel like you're not enough. And understand that is not bitterness. That's not jealousy. That's self preservation. You don't owe anyone access to your emotional well being, not even through a screen. If Valentine's Day is hard, stay off of Instagram for a few days. If engagement announcements trigger you, it's okay to need space from that. If seeing other people's happiness highlights your own loneliness, protect yourself. There's this idea that we should be able to handle everything, that we should be strong enough to be happy for everyone all the time, but that's not realistic. You can be genuinely happy for people and need to protect yourself from constant exposure to what you're longing for. Two things can be true at once. Number five, letting yourself want what you want without shame. Last piece, and this is important, you're allowed to want partnership. You're allowed to want to be chosen. You're allowed to want someone to love you the way you've been learning to love yourself. Doing the work of self love doesn't mean you have to be okay with being alone forever. It doesn't mean you're not just evolved if you still desire romantic love. It doesn't mean you have to convince yourself that single is better just to feel okay about it. You can love your single season and still be ready for it to end. You can appreciate the growth and still want something different. You can be whole on your own and still want to share your life with someone. Don't let anyone, including yourself, shame you for wanting love. That desire is human, it's natural, it's beautiful. The work is just making sure that when love shows up, you're ready for it, that you know your worth, that you won't settle, that you won't lose yourself. And you're doing that work right now in this season while everyone else is posting couple photos. So let me know in the comments, what do you actually want in a partner? Not the checklist, the feeling. How do you want to feel in the relationship? I don't think we ask ourselves that enough. So the mindset shift that changes everything. And I want to be really clear about this. So, all right, we talked about what this is really about, why it's harder when you're single, and what self love actually looks like in practice. Now, I want to give you the mindset shift that when I finally got it, changed everything for me. I've watched it change everything for my client. So, here it is. This season, isn't a waiting room. It's not the before picture. It's not something to endure until your real life starts when you meet somebody. This is your life right now, today, single, and it counts. Let me say that again because we missed this. Your single life isn't less valuable than your partner. It's not a rehearsal, it's not wasted time. This is your actual life and it matters. Every day you're single isn't a day closer to meeting someone. It's a day you're living, a day that counts, a day that's part of your story. And when you shift from seeing this season as waiting to be chosen to actively choosing myself, when you stop putting your life on hold until partnership shows up, everything changes. You stop feeling behind because you realize there's no timeline you're supposed to be on. You stop feeling like you're missing out because you're actually present in your own life instead of daydreaming about a different one. You stop feeling not enough because you realize being single doesn't mean being incomplete. It means having space to become more fully yourself. The goal isn't to be so happy being single that you don't want partnership anymore. It's not realistic. That's bypassing. The goal is to build a life you love so much that when partnership shows up, it has to add to it, not complete it. Because here's what I've learned: when you meet someone from a place of wholeness instead of emptiness, everything is different. You're not looking for them to fill a void. You're inviting them to join something that's already beautiful. You're not trying to lose yourself in them. You're expanding to include them while staying rooted in yourself. You're not grateful just to be chosen. You're discerning about who gets to be part of what you've built. The power of this season. That's why it matters. That's why the self love you're building right now isn't consolation, it's a foundation. And when you look back this time, and you will, you won't see it as the lonely season you had to endure. You'll see it as a season you found yourself, the season you learned to love yourself, the season you built a life so full the partnership became a beautiful addition, not a desperate need. So share in the comments if this mindset shift is hitting you differently, because I need you to know this is the real work. This is the transformation. So before we close, I want to sit with you in this for one more minute. If you're listening to this and your feed is full of couple photos and you're feeling that ache, see you. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't hurt. I'm not going to tell you to just be grateful for what you have. I'm not going to minimize your desire for partnership. What I am going to tell you is this: you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not unlovable. You are not too much or not enough, or any of those stories you tell yourself in the dark. You are in a season, and this season, as hard as it is teaching you something essential: how to be your own person, how to choose yourself, how to build a life you love with or without someone else, just someone else's validation. And that lesson, that's the one that will protect you, sustain you, and transform every relationship you have moving forward. So while everyone else is posting couple photos, you get to do something revolutionary. You get to fall in love with yourself in a performative Instagram way, in a real, just deep, sustainable way. You get to learn what you actually like, what you actually want, who you actually are when you're not performing for anyone. You get to build a relationship with yourself that no one can disrupt. You get to create a life so beautiful that when someone shows up, they have to meet your standard, not the other way around. That's not consolation, that's power. And here's what I need from you: share this episode. Like the friend who's feeling this right now. the one who's struggling with being single while everyone else is coupled up. Just post it with this one met me where I am and tag me at I am Samantha on Instagram. Let's normalize the truth that you can want love and love yourself at the same time. So let me know, how are you going to love yourself differently this week? Just one small way. If you haven't subscribed and this is your moment, these conversations are here for the days when you need a friend who gets it. Hit subscribe. Join my email list that I give out advice every single Wednesday straight to your inbox, or you check me out on Substack. Understand that your season matters, your journey matters, and you're exactly where you need to be. Link is in the show notes if you need a daily companion for this work, for the moments when you forget who you are without someone else validating you. Know we have that Miss Me journal is waiting. It's not just prompts, it's your guide back to yourself that also includes our ebook that goes along with it. So I want you to show up for yourself every single day. Find me daily for gentle reminders on Instagram at 𝐼amSamantha.a, and TikTok at Moving Beyond You. And I'm over here on YouTube or shorts here as well. Before you go, I want you to do something with me. Put your hand on your heart, really do it. Take a deep breath and say this out loud or in your mind. I'm choosing myself today, not because I have to, not because no one else will, but because I'm worthy of my own love. And that's enough for today. Say it again if you need to. Let it sink in. You're not waiting for your life to start. You're living it right now, single or not, chosen by someone else or not. In this season, it's not wasted time, it's sacred time, it's yours. So love yourself fiercely today, not because you have to prove anything, but because you deserve to be loved by someone who knows you intimately, sees all of you, and chooses you anyway. And right now, someone is you. Take care of that beautiful heart, and I'll see you next week.